Hey guys, this is Mrs. Borja with your social studies lesson. Last we left off in social studies, Texas had just joined the United States, becoming the 28th state of the United States. And so we're going to move on. For the next few years, Texas starts to grow. We start to get immigrants, and we start to have a mixture of different type of cultures. And so now we're going to be moving to the next part of a obstacle course that Texas faces, and that's the Mexican War. So we're going to learn about that. We're going to listen to our wonderful person who likes to read to us. Let me zoom in because you know your teacher cannot see. Our objective today is we're going to know that the United States and Mexico went to war to settle boundary disputes. So some vocabulary words to know is expand, which means to get bigger. Boundary is like the division of something, and then skirmish, a small battle. So let's see if I can start this from over here.
Lesson 2. That the United States and Mexico went to war to settle boundary disputes. Vocabulary. Boundary. Skirmish. Conflict between Mexico and Texas did not end when Texas became a state. Fighting is one result of conflict. What are some other ways that conflict might be resolved? Disagreement over boundaries. Texas's relationship with Mexico was unsettled. It would take 2 years to resolve the conflict. In the mid-1800s, U.S. citizens wanted their country to expand or spread out. They believed it was their right. Many people were moving west. The United States had expanded west when Texas became a state. But what were the boundaries of the state? The United States and Mexico disputed or disagreed about this. Mexico said the land in its northern frontier belonged to Mexico. The United States wanted that land. Much of it made up what is now the state of Texas. The President of the United States, James K. Polk, offered to buy it. Mexico refused. The United States and Mexico had another major disagreement. Mexico insisted the Nueces River was the boundary or line between the two countries. The United States said the Rio Grande was the boundary. When Mexico refused to talk about the dispute, President Polk took action. In January 1846, he ordered General Zachary Taylor to march an army toward the Rio Grande. Mexican soldiers crossed the river into the disputed territory on April 25th and attacked a small U.S. Army unit. There was a skirmish or small battle. Mexican soldiers won. Soon President Polk asked Congress to declare war on Mexico. Mexico had shed American blood upon American soil, he said. On May 8, 1846, Mexican soldiers fought U.S. soldiers in a major attack. In this fight, the Battle of Palo Alto, the United States won. It was the first real battle in a new war. 1. Analyze the map. Identify the land Mexico and the United States disputed. Mark an X on that land. 2. Cause and effect. Complete this cause and effect chart about conflict between the United States and Mexico.
All right, so let's talk about this land. So it looks like, hold on, I don't know about you guys, but this is really hard for me to see. So, okay. Alright, so here goes our little map. Part of it's cut off, but that's okay because we just need our legend, which tells us what all of the colors and the markings represent. So the green part is the land that was not disputed. This is not being argued over. The orange and green part is the land that's being claimed by U.S. and by Mexico. This land right here is being claimed by both the U.S. and Mexico. And then we have the Mexican troop movements in green. That's right here. We have the U.S. troop movement, all in purple. That's all over the place. And then the little kaboom signs are where there were battles that took place. Okay, so keep that in mind whenever you're working on your activity. They want you to put an X where the disputed land was at. And then cause and effect. After the annexation of Texas to the United States, there were disputes with Mexico over boundaries. This means when Texas joined the United States, there were problems between the United States and Mexico over the boundaries. Mexican soldiers attacked a small U.S. Army unit. What effect did that have? What happened as a result of the Mexican soldiers attacking the U.S. Army? Okay, that's what you're putting right there. All right, we are continuing with the Mexican War. We are on the next page. Let's go.
War with Mexico. The United States declared war on Mexico on May 13, 1846. In this country, the conflict is called the Mexican War. President Polk had one main goal. He wanted to take control of all the land in Mexico claimed north of the Rio Grande and all the way west to the Pacific. Some Americans did not like to have the country go to war, but many Texans wanted to end Mexico's claims. They wanted the disputed land to be a part of the United States. The Texas Rangers fought in the war too. This group of volunteers had helped defend Texas since 1835 in the days of the Republic. They were especially good scouts, getting information to the army. In fact, they were known as General Taylor's eyes and ears. The fighting went on, with victories on both sides. Finally, in August 1847, U.S. General Winfield Scott marched an army toward Mexico City. They captured the city in mid-September. The war was over. 3. Sequence. Number these events in the correct sequence. Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. U.S. Declaration of War. Battle of Palo Alto. U.S. victory in Mexico City. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. On February 2, 1848, leaders from Mexico and the United States signed a treaty to end the war. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was named for the village where it was signed. There were several impacts of the war. The Rio Grande became the southern border of Texas. Mexico gave more than 500,000 acres of land to the United States. In exchange, the United States paid Mexico $15 million. Also, Tejanos gained important rights. They were granted U.S. citizenship. The treaty promised to protect property rights of Tejanos. A new age had come in the relations between Mexico and the United States.
All right, so your job is to complete this Nearpod activity with the different activities, and that's your social studies assignment. Don't forget you have all week to complete it, so if you don't finish it, you can always come back and finish it. All right, good luck.